all of the roof is taken up by one lot, does it mean that there should be an easement registered against the property, and should there be something in the bylaws as well?
Okay, so now this happens from time to time, and it's usually because someone's gotten in first, and it's really, I find it's really unfair. That lot owner has taken advantage of the easement in favour of the lot for establishing and maintaining utility infrastructure. So the keeping it there is covered by the easement. Now, there's a little quibble there in terms of a limitation on that easement right, because if you dig into that easement right, there's a restriction in relation to, you know, the reasonable use and enjoyment by other people. And so there's a bit of there's a crack. I won't grab it out because I want to answer as many questions as possible, but there's a crack there where some light may be able to get in. That's the start of it. The second thing is that you still need the approval to put it there in the first place. So you go back and have a look at the approval and see what it says. If it says for this installation or on these terms and conditions, you'd be looking over that with a microscope. You know, are they in compliance with the conditions? Is there another crack there that we can pull it apart? I think it's just horribly irresponsible that if it's a shared roof, that one person gets it all just because they're first in. And to me, that's a failure of governance by the body corporate to actually address that. So that's the sort of question where you really need to dig into that proviso in the statutory easement and how it's affecting other people, and you need to dig into the approval to find out whether or not there's some space to get in there and have a look. Because the other thing is, you know, PV cells are not forever. They have an effective lifespan, and if you're clever, you can get ahead of that, and you know, you put in place bylaws that actually will deal with the renewal. So if somebody then says, right, I've got the whole roof and I'm going to put new cells in, and there's a bylaw that says, well, you know, it's framed correctly so that it's prospective, you may well be able to catch that before it happens again.
And you mentioned the paper trail, and this is an instance where it's just so important for the decision-making process to be documented, isn't it?
Yeah, look, as with anything in bodies corporate, if you can't, you know, if you're not documenting it all, including from a committee and body corporate position to justify what they've done, you know, good legal advice will tell you, you just can't go and do the aesthetic stuff all the time. This is about, and I think that's a bit of an old view now. Most people are with it. You know, it's an Australian thing. We're big adopters, and anyone who's complaining about PV cells on the roof these days really needs to pull their head in, to be perfectly frank.